Hey there, Cancer. It's Chronic Joy Tarot. This is going to be your mid-June update, and I'm going to try to start picking up the pace with my uploads here, posting more often, zodiac-based readings twice a month if I can. The school year's out. It's a little quieter and slower around here, and I think I may be able to post more often, so keep an eye out for that. These decks have both been shuffled and cleared off camera so that I don't have to spend too much time shuffling. I always spend a few minutes meditating on your sign before I start shuffling and turn it on. So the deck that I'm using, the Oracle deck, I'm pulling one card from Ascended Masters by Doreen Virtue to give us some guidance here. And from there, we'll do the tarot spread using the Zen Osho Zen Tarot deck. Okay, Cancer, you are guided for the next couple weeks to see the other person's point of view. Perhaps you've been feeling misunderstood or in a headlock with another, or even this could be with a concept, with an idea or a philosophy, or somebody else's ideology that you feel you may be too quick to judge it as wrong or the other person as wrong. So what we're guiding you to do is to open up your space of understanding a little bit and use your compassionate heart and try to see what they may be going through before you are so quick to judge it. So, and this could also be dilemma within your own self. Two different ways of seeing things that maybe you feel split in two directions. So this is kind of just guiding you to weigh things out, have an understanding that there's room for a lot of opinions and a lot of ways of doing things. It's actually the beauty of, that diversity is what keeps us going. This spread's called the Flying Bird. Here is your point of liftoff, and then we're going to take flight and move through to a new level of awareness regarding seeing the other's point of view. Okay? Your takeoff point here, is conditioning. So if you remember, or maybe you don't, this tells the story of the lion who was born and sort of abandoned with a flock of sheep. And he was raised around sheep and was just unaware that he just thought he was a sheep. He would think, he'd look around him and see nothing but sheep and thought that that's what he looked like and that's who he was. Until one day he went and took a drink in the pond and saw his reflection and freaked out a little bit, like, what? I'm a lion? And then sort of, not lost his sense of identity, but, realized, oh, I can see things, only one way for so long, but, not everything isn't as it seems, right? So to know yourself from the inside without worrying how others see you. And that goes along with this, seeing another point of view or expanding your awareness that everybody has their way of viewing themselves or viewing life. And it may not always line up with your idea of it, but that's okay. Okay? So that's where you start. So I'm not sure if you have a block about somebody, Cancer, or maybe somebody's ideology. Maybe I'm not sure if you feel the way you do things and the way others may expect you to do things differs, but let's go a little further here. The position of this card is called Fear of Flying. This is going to be something that could possibly block your progress if we don't master it. And yeah, that's makes sense. This is the Fighting card. So I'm thinking not a literal fight, but a mental block. A mental block. And makes sense when you think of trying to open up your perception and see things in new ways. So This is going to be important. Get past that mental block. I would say spend more time, more quiet time in the next couple weeks with yourself, meditating, staying centered and open to and receptive to new ways of seeing, doing, and speaking about things. Yep. Every time I pull a card, it confirms the last one. So the next card is the Fool. So definitely in the next couple weeks, spend your time with less expectation of what may come and more welcoming how it unfolds. How does that? This guy is moving along, ready to step off a cliff, and has not a care in the world. No idea he's going to go tumbling down, because he probably won't, because he trusts that, that next ledge is going to show up, and completely operating in the moment. And that makes sense for us here, Cancer, if we're going to try to close a gap between yourself and maybe the way another perceives things, or yourself and yourself. If you have some kind of a conflict within, let go of the fighting and trust in this very moment that your answers are on their way. Okay? Yep. The next card is Aloneness. I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I'm not really laughing at you, but it cracks me up how these all line up. They're perfect. The Aloneness card is telling us that, Cancer, in order to get past these mental blocks and get past these, only one way of seeing things, you're the only one that can do it. You alone can master this new state of awareness, this new state of acceptance and receptivity. You alone. And you don't need anybody's advice. You don't need to lean on anyone else. You have all the answers inside. This is a powerful, a self-empowering card in this spread, in this position, in this reading for me. Self-empowerment. You have what it takes to close those gaps between you and another, or you and, the other way of seeing things. You have what it takes to create your own receptivity to new and different ideas and things. So spend more time in silence. I think I said that a couple cards back. Spend more time meditating, taking in your surroundings, taking in all possibilities. A lot more quiet time. Use less of your mental facilities, thinking things through, and more of your intuition. And Cancer, we know how deeply intuitive you are. So this is where you want to head toward at this time. Okay. You're arriving at a new way of understanding, and I pulled the Lover's card. In this spread, for this position, I'm not reading this as a physical world lover, and I'm reading it more as a higher state of love, which is compassion. And that's definitely what we want to develop in order to see that other point of view. So if you can master getting past this idea that there's only one way, to see things, and that mental block you may have about it, if you can get past that, live in the moment, trust yourself, spend more time in silence, you will begin to feel your sense of compassion coming. You already have a very, very intense and very special level of compassion, Cancer, and you'll return to that. If this block is something you're experiencing, you're on your way to letting it go. And the outcome, the insight of this entire reading, is that the burden will be lifted. So if you started out in this reading capturing this idea and understanding what this meant, that you're in some kind of conflict or in some kind of a mental battle with yourself or with another, the outcome can be that you will release that burden. You'll relieve yourself of that heavy feeling. Remember, these 2 cards here, that's your turning point. These are the ones to get through, and from there, things will flow. Okay? All right, Cancer. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and remember to check out my website if you want your own personalized reading, because these are always very general. Get in touch with me, and I will also be posting July updates very soon, so look for them. Okay, have a good rest of the month. Bye.